Hi everyone, Kelt here. So, royal experts are now saying that Harry and Meghan are trying to paint themselves as victims just for a change, in what they describe as a disgusting attempt to provoke the Queen into making a public response to their race claims in a bid to bring down the firm. I'll put a link to this newspaper article in the description. So the show goes on. So what is this? Complaining because someone doesn't take full ownership of allegations when they are basically ignoring them because they're not true. It's ridiculous and very, very childish. But it's also very entertaining, which is what all this seems to be for, because it doesn't seem to be actually getting anywhere for any of them, for the Sussexes or the Royals. It's just a never-ending circle of Harry and his wife saying stuff, expecting a reaction, not getting the reaction, and complaining because they're not getting the reaction, a bit like toddlers. So all this goes on while the real issues don't get talked about. So these royal experts are hitting back at Harry and his wife's attempts to provoke the Queen into making a public response, which she won't do. She never has, so why would she now? So Harry and Meghan believe that the Queen did not take full ownership of the allegations. Why would she, when it was actually Harry who brought up the subject of race while talking to his family about Archie before he was born? He was joking about what colour he might be. So maybe Harry needs to take ownership of that, yes? So Omid Scobie is saying that Harry and Meghan are currently entering an era of visibility. There is no incredulous smiley or emoticon big enough for that statement. So if they are now entering into the year of visibility, or into an era of visibility, what is it that we've been experiencing these past 3 years if it hasn't been them being so visible on every cover, every bit of news that pops up on our screens? God help us all if they're going to be entering into an era of visibility. What does it even mean? Are we going to have emergency broadcast system, EBS, popping up on our phones with their faces? Will they be appearing in this way to tell us how to look after the world, how to look after each other, and how to look after ourselves? I think they would love that. They certainly have become a product, not one we need, but one that definitely gets noticed. Victoria Arbiter says that the Queen, who is 95 by the way and still has the skin of an 18-year-old, despite all this stress, how can that possibly be? Victoria says that the Queen does not perform on command, apart from when people make CGI videos of her dancing during her Christmas speech. Angela Levin says that Duke and Duchess are so resentful and that she hopes the Queen doesn't listen to a couple who only think of themselves. I don't think the Queen is listening to anyone at the moment. She's looking very happy and content in the video clips we see of her nowadays. Perhaps that's why, because she's not listening to anyone. Can you blame her? So when people were saying that Harry and Meghan are poking the bear, they really are. Angela said that Harry is not willing to move on until it's sorted. Well, he's going to have to wait a very long time, because it's he that needs to come clean about having brought up the whole subject in the first place. He was always joking about race and colour, always joking with his grandmother, the Queen. We've seen videos, and also we've seen videos and heard recordings of him joking about colour and race with his friends, in a very affectionate way. It's obvious that it was all right for him to laugh and joke about what colour the baby might be, but if any family member didn't give him the answer he wanted, he's thrashing it out in front of the whole world. None of it rings true. He's not totally stupid. He knows that these things cannot get resolved this way, which makes it more obvious that it's for show, for whatever reason. If it's for money, then it's not going to work. In fact, it's not going to work anyway, but it does sell newspapers. It's also been pointed out that the wording is Meghan's. Angela said that this is Meghan's speak. It sounds like Meghan speak. She goes on to say that some people, without naming names, get a buzz if they're attacking someone else and if it's dangerous. They get a high, their adrenaline goes, and they feel they're really powerful and strong. What they're doing now is that outrageous. That makes sense to me. Harry wouldn't need an adrenaline rush in that way. That was his life before. His adrenaline rush would be going to a supermarket and trying to scan and pay for his items with his own money, which he did do occasionally when he needed some excitement. He would often nip out of the gates of Kensington Gardens and then a few yards up the road to the little Waitrose on the corner. I know it well, but I never saw him there. But I did hear that he went there to buy eggs for his breakfast once. Yeah, it makes sense that Meghan would get an adrenaline high by poking the bear, in this case the Queen. She's someone who would love that thrill, though she seems so afraid to come back to the UK and face the people. So it was the Queen's phrase of "recollections may vary" which fired up Harry's wife, and she would probably see it as passive-aggressive and provocative, but it's probably 100% true. It's a polite way of saying you've got it wrong. And this show just goes on. Omid says that Harry and Meghan are entering the era of visibility and seem to be existing in a different place. In a different place? That could mean anything. They are living in their heads, obviously. Well, it could mean that they're living on a different continent, or it could mean that they're spiritually on a totally different plane to the people they're having to deal with. All these little platitudes from Mr. Scobie are quite entertaining. Talks about them needing to be on the ground. He says that the proof is in the pudding, and we're about to see the pudding, he says. Oh my gosh, please don't say that that means another pregnancy could be happening. He says that they're trying to prioritise their mental health and stay away from toxicity. That will never happen because they need to detox themselves. He refers to Meghan having said that it was not enough to survive, and he says that they are now in the thrive chapter. Well, why don't they just be quiet then and enjoy the thriving? Am I reading something into this pudding comment? Do you think that Omid is implying that there is another little pudding on the way, or a bun in the oven, little pitter-patter of tiny feet? What do you think? Please subscribe, ding my bell for more alerts for more videos, like if you liked it, and share. Bye.